Well, hey guys, welcome back and welcome to the first video of 2021. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas and New Year. So in this video, I'm going to be answering all your questions that I regularly get on how I set up my helmets for motovlogging with regards to how I attach the camera, what microphones I use, where they go, what comms units, and the whole setup of how it all works. So for 2021, I decided to get myself a new helmet that matches the Super Duke R. I've gone with the HJC Alpha 70. So I thought it'd be a good time to show you guys how it's actually all set up with the new helmet. So we're going to dive into it. Catch you in a second. Don't go anywhere. So quick introduction to the new lid. This is the HJC Alpha 70, which is kind of a sports touring helmet that I've gone with. Already slapped on a dark visor. But it does come with the integrated sun visor on this one, so that's a good thing to have, but I do like to use a dark visor. So that is the new lid that I'm going to be donning this year for 2021. So to set this helmet up for motovlogging, firstly I've attached my comms unit, which I've gone with the Cardo Pack Talk Bold. Now this is a sponsored unit, but I was sponsored for about 4 years from Senna, and in my opinion the Cardo units are the better units to go for. Now, I'm sure most of you that are watching are familiar with these types of comm units and what they do, but if you are new to this type of thing, it's basically a Bluetooth communicator that attaches onto the side of your helmet. You install 2 speakers inside the helmet itself, and there's a microphone installed at the front of the helmet. So this enables you to make telephone calls, listen to music. You can connect these to your sat-nav navigation so you can hear the routes, or the sat-nav can talk to you. You can connect to other riders either via Bluetooth or mesh, which is the new sort of technology, and it means that you can connect up to an amount of riders and you can talk to them while you're out and about on a ride, which is quite interesting. Now I do have an independent video, a quick sort of install and easy quick start guide to using this, so if you do want to check that out, then check the video out in the top corner, or I'll stick a link in the description below. So getting on to the meat and veg of the video, how do I actually set up my helmet for motovlogging, for filming, my audio and all that sort of jazz, etc, etc. Now the best place to attach your camera to your helmet, in my opinion, is down on the chin. A lot of helmets are sort of different on how you can attach your camera. Most GoPros come with either a curved mount, a sticky mount, or a flat one. Now these aren't ideal because, in my opinion, the curved mount the curve is slightly too curved, so it's difficult to find a place on the helmet where it actually gets sort of full adhesion. Most of the time it'll stick on, it'll hold, but you'll get a corner that's lifted up and etc. It's a bit of a nightmare. Likewise with a flat one, there's just no good way to put it on there. So most of the time people stick them on the side of their helmets where you can get better adhesion, but then your camera sort of sits on the side of the lid. It's not as tidy. And most of the time when you can see the front of the helmet in your shot, it doesn't give a great view, in my opinion. And most of the cameras that are on the market nowadays, they're all stabilized, so the camera will be stabilized nice and stable on the side of the helmet, but in the shot the helmet will be moving up and down. It's quite off-putting, so that's not the best ideal way to mount it. The best way to put it is down on the chin. Now, not easily done, because the normal standard GoPro mounts, there's no way I can get any adhesion to stick onto that. So what options have we then got to get it mounted on the front of the helmet? Now, some people sort of use, I think it's called that Surglue. You can basically sort of bastardize your own mount, and you can form a shape with this Surglue. It's very sort of pliable, and then when it sticks or when it hardens, that is then permanently mounted onto the front of the helmet, which works. I've seen people do it, but it's a bit of a faff, not the most tidy, I would have said. But as with all my other helmets, I've been hooked up by Fab Custom Mounts. Now this is a company based in Singapore that builds or handcrafts custom GoPro mounts, or many other GoPro action cam mounts altogether. So basically this has been custom shaped to fit exactly on the front of this helmet. Now there is a vent at the front here which opens and closes inside. I'm not sure why HJC have got that extra vent, but I'm going to sort of kill that one off, because I don't want too much ventilation, because if you get too much air coming in or whistling in the front of your helmet, you're going to get rubbish audio. So we're gonna kill that one off and cover the front of that vent with our GoPro mount. Hopefully you can see the sort of contours and the profile of the front of the helmet and how it sort of matches up to the mount itself. So this little bump in there fits directly into the vent, and that fits perfectly on there. First off, we'll just clean the area with an alcohol wipe just to get rid of any sort of grease, dirt and debris. So what I'm going to do now is just peel off the backing of the sticky mount. Now with the GoPro mounts, it's better if you warm them up slightly. They get a better adhesion, not burn it or anything, just to warm the glue up a tad. You can lie them on gently without actually sort of forcing it down, and it will stick just a tad. I think I'm happy with that. Now it's important with these mounts, like any mounts that you use, it's important to leave them for 24 hours once you've installed it before you actually use it, so it gets the full adhesion. So all that's really left to do once that is fully stuck is to mount the camera, or mount the camera case in onto the front of the helmet. Now here I've set up a GoPro sort of standard buckle that everybody knows, with a 2 pivot arms on the front of it, and then we can then attach our camera case or camera housing to the front of that. Now I use thumb screws on these, or screws, rather than the GoPro sort of standard thumb screws, these things here, because if you've got 3 or 4 of them hanging off this housing, it looks terribly untidy. So bin those off, get yourself some screws, some bolts, and that tidies up your setup a fair bit. I'm just going to loosely do these up for now, because I'll need to attest and adjust. Bosh. So that is then the camera installed on the front of the helmet, and I'm not going to put the camera in it because it would be too heavy, and it's obviously not had its time to set fully on the front, but you can then see how it's actually attached. Now you can attest and adjust this, the position of your camera. You'll have to do that yourself for personal preference, but you do have to bear it in mind that when you're riding, your helmet is slightly tipped forward as you ride. Depends on what bike you ride. If you're on a sports bike, your head's tipped forward that bit more. So if you're sort of on a sportier bike, you need to make sure that you tip your camera back so that it's level with the sort of horizon. But that's for you guys to sort of test and adjust as you see fit. So we've got our camera sorted. What we need then is audio. Now, unfortunately for GoPro, over many years, we've had to use this bloody mic adapter, which is a bit of a pain. We're not sort of catered for, I don't think, from GoPro in the sort of motovlogging sort of community or motovlogging market. We've had to fart around with these for a few years now. The older GoPros, the Hero 3s and 4s, you could just plug your microphone straight into the camera via a small adapter, but now we've got to fart around with these bloody great things. Hopefully that changed that in the future. So I think I will actually mount that back on, because we need to test and adjust for the mic. So the mic adapter plugs into the side of the camera in this little port here in the side, so that has to be mounted as also on the side of the camera in some shape or form. So again, it's a bit fiddly. We're going to be sticking this on the side of the camera, side of the helmet, with 3M Velcro pads. They kind of snap into each other. It's not your sort of normal run-of-the-mill Velcro. It's quite ruggedized, and they sort of click into each other. It's very good stuff. Now there are other GoPro sort of cases or housing on the market where the mic adapter actually slots in underneath. It's up to you what you want to use. I've been using it on the side of the helmet since they've come out, but you can get them where they even tuck behind the camera, and then it connects to the camera like that, but I'm just going to go with what I've got. Now I will actually attach a camera to this, because I'm going to need to test and adjust how the mic adapter actually sits on the helmet. So we'll plug that in, get it into sort of the central position. I will actually tighten that screw then up. So we're going to be sort of something like that. So it's going to need to go somewhere around there. So what I need to do, I've already cleaned that side of the helmet off. Let's peel the backing off, somewhere around there. I'm not going to stick it straight down, just to sort of, again, test and adjust. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Press that on there. You've got the free range of movement on there. Then if you want to push it forward or back, you don't have to attach it to the full amount. It will still hold on the edge if needs be. Snap that in place. Now the only thing left to do is to install our lavalier mic on the inside of the helmet. Now I use lav mics from Boya. They cost about 20 bucks. I did try to find a link to the ones I use, but I can't find them anywhere online. So I don't know whether they've stopped selling these, but I have recently bought one from Comica to use on one of my Shoei helmets, because one of these Boya ones died. It probably got too much water in it. After a time, if they get too much moisture in them, they start to fart around. But this is still a good one. This is from Boya, so we're going to attach this on the inside of the helmet. I have got this dead cat on top. You can get these also online. They cost a few bucks. Very important. If you just stick one of these over the top, it helps to cancel out some of the wind noise that you will still get when mounted inside the helmet. So first thing I need to do on this helmet is remove the cheek curtain, which is just a Velcro cheek curtain. We're going to be mounting this then somewhere at the front of the helmet. Now right at the front I've got my microphone mounted for the Mikado Pack Talk, so we're going to go slightly offset, and I'm actually going to tuck it in behind this cheek pad here. Not fully, I'll still have the front of the mic, you can still feel it at the front. I'll have that sticking out, probably about that much will stick out from the side of the cheek pad. So we just need to remove part of the cheek pad just so we can get in behind it. Just remove some of the clasps that we can then get in there and add our mic. So I'm just going to stick it in behind there and just feel for the front of the mic that it's a omnidirectional mic, but you still need to have the top of it or the front of it poking out. So I'm probably going to have that much sort of sticking out of it. I don't know if you can see that on there, you probably can, just in there, look. So most of it is tucked behind in under here, but the front of the mic is actually protruding out the front with a bit of dead cat. So once I've got that in place, I'm just going to snap one of the poppers back in place, just to give me some stability. Can be a bit fiddly, but just stick with it. So that is then snapped into place, and what I will then do is just run the cable around the helmet. Again, how you arrange or how you organize your cables inside the helmet, that's up to you, but because I've got the cables for my Mikado Pack Talk all on this side, I've gone with the mic on that side, so I don't have an extra cable tucked in and around the headliner, because it can get quite uncomfortable if you've got all the cables coiled up in one place under the liner. You might well feel that on your head, which isn't ideal. You can remove all your liners completely, which I did on the install for my Mikado Pack Talk, but just for the mic, it's not necessary to remove all the liner, but it is a lot easier if you do. So that is the cable run all the way around the helmet to where it actually attaches to the front there. So what we've got left is this bit of excess, which I will then sort of coil up neatly and stick under the back of the headliner. So that's all clipped in place. One thing to do is sort of get it on your head and test and adjust if you can feel any of the cables that are sort of gathered up under the liner, not that you get a sort of a pressure point over time and it gets on your nerves, but I will test that once we've finished here. So that is all installed. All that's left to do is install the chin curtain back into the helmet. Now, if your helmet doesn't have a chin curtain, if it's all open at the front here and you can order yourself one, then I would advise in getting one, because it closes off the front of the helmet that bit more and stops the wind rushing in under the front of the helmet. Now, obviously not as good for ventilation, but for good audio, it's well worth doing, because it closes that up, stops the wind gushing in under the front of the chin there, and giving you bad audio. So if you can get one for your helmet, I would advise on getting a chin curtain. Now, one more thing left to cover before I go is people ask me all the time is how I waterproof the camera. Now, unfortunately, when you add or attach the GoPro mic adapter, you have to remove the side door of the GoPro, which means it is then not waterproof. You've got this gaping hole on the side here, and from your mic on the ports to the back of the mic adapter, it's not waterproof. So it's fine for when you're out in the summer, but I wanna be able to still film out in downpours. So what I use is this stuff here. I don't know if you remember these as kids. I mean, I used to use them when I was small. It's like a silicone ear bud. It's basically, you can get these on eBay as well. It's just a silicone sort of based putty. Here's a piece here. It's kind of like, it's like silicone, but it's not sticky, or it is slightly, but it's not sort of tacky. So I basically stuff that into the side of the, or the opening on the side of the camera. You can form this stuff to however you want it, and then just wrap it around the cable and stuff it in that hole. And again, I'll roll out a little loop of it and stick it around the base of the mic jack, just to sort of waterproof that, and then that's it, you're good to go. Now you can use other things like blue tack works as well, but some of the stuff like that over time, if it gets a bit heat into it or it's been on the camera for a while, when you pull it off, it sort of breaks apart and you can end up with bits of blue tack stuck inside your ports of your camera or on the ports on the back of the adapter, so not ideal. So this stuff is great. As I said, it sticks enough. You can form the stuff, but it isn't sort of tacky that it will stay in and around the ports or stay stuck to the side of the camera. So that is how I waterproof the ports and the camera itself for vlogging. So that is pretty much it for this episode. I will stick links down in the description, especially to Fab Custom Mounts if you want to pick up your own customized GoPro mount. Particular to your helmet. As I said, it is handcrafted and matched to the front of your helmet. They are a bit more on the expensive side, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth the money because it does look much tidier, and there's no way that thing is ever going to come off. So that is it for today. Hopefully you've took something away from the video. Hopefully that's answered all your questions and queries if you want to get into motovlogging and how it's actually set up. Again, I'd like to welcome you back to 2021, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.